Elise and Kane cook the world champions. Llorente experiences deja vu at Anfield, yet Clutch FC keep dramatically winning, and the special one is back to where it all began. This is DMAC Daily. Chelsea just got a reality check. A lapse in concentration cost them on the weekend. Today, however, there can be no excuses as they were simply second best. Bayern Munich outplayed Chelsea for the vast majority of this contest, and over the course of 90 minutes, the golfing class only grew. Now, whilst Harry Kane will get all the individual plaudits for his impressive brace today, picking up the Man of the Match award, I'd argue that Elise's contributions far outweighed the Englishman's overall. His performance was something that apps like LiveScore and FotMob failed to adequately convey because he was borderline unplayable at times. He made Cucurella, one of Europe's best defensive fullbacks, look bang average. The guy was in flow state on that right flank linking up with Lima. Elise may not be the quickest winger out there, but he is absolutely world class. Post Robben and Ribéry, Bayern have always had good wingers, but have lacked truly elite quality in that area. Elise is, in my opinion, performing at that exceptional caliber. In his debut season at Bayern, he had 43 goal contributions in 55 games, and this campaign, he's delivering at an even better rate. He is the one that got away from Chelsea. Focusing on the Blues though, and look, it's not the end of the world, right? Remember, UCL champions PSG lost on 3 separate occasions in the league phase in 24-25. But I think this performance indicates where Chelsea actually are right now. The Club World Cup was an impressive achievement in isolation, particularly in that final, but I think it somewhat distorts the reality of where this club sits because they are not an elite team just yet. And this is coming from a Chelsea fan. Ultimately, it's still very much Cole Palmer FC at this stage. Without him, this team lacks consistent quality. We saw it on the weekend, and today, even with Palmer for the full 90 minutes, he couldn't bail out the inefficiencies across the park. Staying on the theme of English clubs, and Liverpool v Atletico Madrid felt like deja vu for both clubs. Flashback to 2020, and Atletico Madrid were 2-0 down at Anfield until Llorente came off the bench and scored a brace in a match they went on to win. This was such a memorable moment for the Spaniard that he literally named his dog Anfield. Well, 5 years later, history somewhat repeated itself. Slots Reds got off to a blistering start, a 2-goal lead, before right back Marcos Llorente scored another double at Anfield, one of which was an absolute belter of a volley. 4 of his 7 Champions League goals have now come at this one venue. Bizarre. But as mentioned, it was deja vu for Liverpool as they have once again secured all 3 points at the death. 5 wins on the bounce in the most dramatic of circumstances, from the Chiesa volley to Ngamoa at St. James's Park, the Szoboszlai screamer, Salah's 95th minute penalty, and now Virgil van Dijk's bullet header. Surely their immense good fortune is going to come to an end, right? Right? It's been a traumatic period for the Liverpool hate watchers, that's for sure. Granted, in this particular outing, 3-2 definitely flattered Atletico because this was not an even contest. Liverpool were simply wasteful in front of goal. Although for all the criticism that's been leveled towards Wirtz, I thought his Champions League debut was probably his best outing in a Liverpool shirt thus far. I mean, if Salah or Frimpong had their shooting boots on, he'd have 2 assists to his name. Still, needs to have more of an impact considering the price tag, but I remain firmly of the opinion that the guy's gonna shine long term. We also saw Liverpool's other Premier League record signing in action as Isak made his club debut. I was surprised he started considering he's basically had no preseason and only 1 cameo off the bench for Sweden, but contrary to most of the reactionary Twitter opinions, I thought he looked decent. Of course, if he doesn't deliver Newcastle level numbers, he will be worthy of criticism for sure, but it's still very early days. However, the highlight of tonight's match may not have actually taken place on the pitch, but rather off it, as Atletico's manager Simeone crashed out following taunts from a Liverpool fan and was eventually shown a red card. Embarrassing stuff. You're one of the best paid coaches in the world and you can't cop a bit of slander without losing your head. There's also footage of Atletico's assistants spitting at Liverpool fans too. Shameless behavior all round. In other UCL matchups, the reigning champions PSG got off to a perfect start, obliterating Atalanta 4-0. These guys really enjoy coming up against Italian opposition, but what makes this victory all the more impressive was that this was without Ballon d'Or contender Ousmane Dembele or starboy Desiree Doué. The depth and overall chemistry of this team front to back is just insane. Meanwhile, fellow UCL finalists Inter got their campaign up and running thanks to 2 identical goals from Marcus Thuram, 2 corners from Çalhanoğlu, 2 unscored unstoppable headers from the Frenchman. This guy is an aerial assassin. He already has scored 4 headers in 4 games this season, 6 goal contributions in total. The depth and variety of France's front line is actually outrageous in 2025. And the Champions League newcomers remain unbeaten so far in the opening match day. Fresh off of Union Saint-Gilloise' stunning victory yesterday, Cyprus's Paphos FC and Norway's Bodo Glimt secured hard-fought points on the road. Paphos went down to 10 men after just 26 minutes and then lost new recruit David Luiz just 7 minutes later, yet held firm and kept a clean sheet against Olympiacos. Meanwhile, there was drama in Czechia. Slavia Prague took a commanding 2-0 lead thanks to a brace from Champions League debutant Youssoufa Mbodji, who was playing in France's 5th tier just a few months ago. But the UCL's Arctic Minnows Bodo Glimt came from 2 goals down to earn a vital draw. The equalizer just happened to be a spectacular volley to send the traveling fans of the small town club absolutely berserk. You love to see it. Shifting our attention to managerial news, and the special one is set to return to where it all began 25 years ago as Benfica's new manager. This is insane for so many reasons. Remember, Mourinho was just sacked from Fenerbahce due to being knocked out of the Champions League by Benfica. But after a disappointing home draw in the league, followed by a humiliating Champions League defeat against unfancied Qarabag in Lisbon, Bruno Lage has been sacked, with the Portuguese icon controversially appointed within the space of 24 hours on a 2-year deal. Many locals are suggesting this is a panic mode decision by club president Rui Costa. For context, Benfica have their presidential elections in a month's time, and currently he's expected to lose. But either way, I'm not mad, especially considering his first UCL game in charge will be back at Stamford Bridge. The storyline is just wild here. I do wonder how Porto's fans are feeling about this. His legacy at the club is, or maybe was, legendary. It was at Porto where Mourinho first made global headlines, winning 6 trophies, including that historical Champions League triumph. So it must sting seeing him join one of their biggest rivals. I remember it was painful to see Mourinho join Man United and then Tottenham. But in this specific instance, over 20 years have passed since his last gig in Portugal, so maybe that softens the blow. In terms of Benfica's ethos, they traditionally opt for an entertaining brand of football, so I'm not sure if Mourinho's pragmatism aligns with that philosophy. But no matter what you think of the man's methods or managerial ability in 2025, this is objectively a fantastic opportunity to restore his reputation. Let's just hope he lasts a little longer than his previous 4-month stint at Benfica back in 2000. Get the popcorn ready, it's gonna be a wild ride. Now for some quick fire news elsewhere, and Ange Postecoglou's Forest tenure has suffered a fresh setback, knocked out of the EFL Cup at the hands of Swansea, blowing a 2-goal lead, including 2 stoppage time goals. Not a good start for the Aussie. Heading to MLS, and according to ESPN, Lionel Messi is set to sign a multi-year contract extension with Inter Miami. This would almost certainly confirm that Messi will spend the remainder of his career in Florida. However, he may have a new rival for MLS MVP, as recent LAFC signing Heung-min Son just popped off with his first hat-trick on US soil. 7 goal contributions in his opening 6 games. Let him cook. In the Middle East, a Ronaldo-less Al Nassr cruised to victory over FC Istiklal 5-0 in the ACL2, which is essentially the Europa League equivalent of Asia. And in the Copa Libertadores, Palmeiras secured a massive victory on the road to River Plate in the quarterfinal first leg. Barca flop Vitor Roque with the decisive goal. Anyways, guys, that's all for today's DMAC Daily. If you enjoyed the show, feel free to like, subscribe, click that notification bell, and I'll see you tomorrow.